What's going on, guys? Today I am here to talk about Jack Harlow and his last album, Monica. So he dropped that, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, but very, very recently. And this was a little bit of a departure for him. It was, many people are describing it as like neo soul, which I guess I would agree with. And just not him rapping, definitely more singing and that type of production being included, and it's getting some very, very mixed reactions, and not really even because of the music itself. So he drops this album. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Like I said, it's not him rapping, so if that's what you want out of it, you will be disappointed. But I did think for what he was going for, it sounded pretty good. Now, first week sales, which I hate even bringing those up to a degree, but I do think in some conversations it can be indicative of the overall reception. And it was 19K for the first week. And for an album like this from Jack Harlow, that sounds about right, especially coming off the heels of his last album, which was, I believe, Jackman. But the last album he had, which was very, very much the non-pop style of rapping that many of his fans, I'm sure, kind of come to expect from him. So, he was already kind of leaning off of the mainstream pop sound that he had. And then for his next one, he kind of even goes further away from where his core audience kind of knows him from. So I'm not surprised that it didn't sell very well. And it goes to show, though, like most artists, it probably would have sold under 10, maybe under 5 to have that kind of departure from their sound potentially. So I do think it is almost like a little impressive that he still got the 19K, just given how different the album is and the negative reactions around it, which we'll get into in a second. But I would suggest check it out. It's kind of a vibe, but unfortunately none of that really matters because Jack Harlow decided to try and sabotage his own rollout for this. So he drops this song, and people are already kind of joking around, saying that he's dressed like Common, stuff like that. Funny, whatever, haha. And then I don't know who he was interviewing with, but it was somebody. He did on the New York Times Popcast podcast. That's a tongue twister. So I guess that's where he was, and he's talking about it and talks about how he really enjoys black music, and that's something he really, really enjoys. Just like all of the type of music that comes from that community, which okay, you can rock with that. And then he says he became blacker, something along those lines. I didn't see this full podcast. I don't think there is context that could be provided outside of the clip I saw that would make this better. I'm not even necessarily trying to hate on it because I feel like he had very good intentions with what he was trying to say, but I feel like it was just so tone deaf of him to not understand how that would be received by, black people. I am a white hip hop listener / I love that type of music myself. I'm right there with him, except for the part where I talk about being blacker because that, like I said, just feels incredibly tone deaf. I understand why, because he even goes on to mention his other contemporaries, and there is definitely a discussion about the culture vulture narrative with certain artists a Post Malone or MGK, who kind of get their start in rap and hip hop, and then later down the line when they feel like they have kind of gotten what they can out of the space, move on to a different genre. Whether or not you believe in that, I'm not here to convince you, but that is just the general narrative that goes around online about these artists. And they have points with that stuff. I think Jack Harlow knows and is aware of that narrative when it comes to white rappers. I think he probably felt like everyone expected him to kind of be the next on the chopping block for that. I'm trying to think of mainstream white artists that started in hip hop and then ditched it, or I don't even want to say ditched it, but then moved on to other genres. And as far as anyone who even got popular enough, I think Jack Harlow was kind of the next up. I can't think of another white guy that was really of that magnitude as far as just their overall size. MGK was pretty decently big. He wasn't Jack Harlow size or Post Malone, but he definitely had a solid audience. So I think he, being aware of that, was trying to make it clear. He's like, hey, I'm not going to do this. This thing that you get so upset about these other artists, I'm staying true to this area of music. And like I said, I think it was with the best intentions of the world, but just kind of insane that he couldn't understand how odd that would sound to a lot of people. Like, I'm sure there is a chunk of people like me that give him the benefit of the doubt that he had the best intentions saying something like that and wasn't trying to come off in any type of way that could be received as negative. But unfortunately, like maybe there is a little bit of context that makes it a bit better. I don't think there's anything that changes the overall message of what he was saying, or just like the word, like that is what he said. Again, I don't think he's a bad person for saying it. I think he was really trying to say something well-intentioned, but it just came off so bad, and I cannot believe he did not hear what it would sound like to most people, especially people who aren't going to watch this full podcast. Not like it would help, but you can't even have the, that type of attention on your side that they're going to pay attention to the whole conversation and give you the best, benefit of the doubt. Now, people, you haven't done nothing for them lately. They're like, what's the last big Jack Harlow song? Loving on Me. Lots of people were even calling that a fake number one. And I'm not here to dunk on Jack Harlow. I just think it's crazy that this album honestly could have been well received and well talked about. I liked it. It was solid, like a good 7.5 out of 10 for me. I like that type of music already, so that helps. I can imagine if you're a Jack Harlow fan, but like R&B singing is not what you listen to, or at least that's not what you listen to Jack Harlow for, I can see not liking it. So he just went ahead and kind of killed any shot of this thing standing on its own. And not to mention, I don't know why he named it Monica, but I think it's obvious kind of the potential connotations you could decide to read into with that. I doubt that's what he did, because that's crazy if so, but I honestly haven't seen why he named it that. I haven't been watching his rollout interviews if he's mentioned it already. All I've seen is this one clip, because that one seems to be catching fire. But yeah, I just don't understand. Like, obviously he's been 2026. He blew up 2020. He's been, famous for damn near more than half a decade now, so maybe it's just the disconnect, but I'm very curious as to what he thought people were going to think about that type of statement coming from him. Once again, I think he means well. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that. Like I said, I'm not really that big a Jack Harlow fan. Like, I'll check out his I checked this one out, even though it's not even the usual Jack Harlow fare. And once again, I really do suggest you go check it out, because it's I liked it for like a neo soul type like music. Like, it's a vibe. It's not even too long either. I think it was like a little over half an hour, so very digestible and quick listen. And it is just unfortunate that his PR seems to have overshadowed any quality the music may have had. Once again, it wasn't the greatest album I've ever heard. I'm not even claiming that. It was just solid if you like that type of music. I'm sure there's a couple songs on there that you could grab and, wouldn't mind going back to. At least that's kind of how I came away from it. But let me know what you guys think. Are you in agreement? I mean, this was just the dumbest thing he may have been able to say, as far as, wanting people to go check it out. Like, this was his this was like his press run in this podcast, and all he's doing is making people not talk about his album for the music, but for other reasons that was just so preventable if he had not said that. And once again, it's like, how do you not understand the way that might come off to people like that? I don't know. But like I said, let me know what you guys think down below. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you later. Bye.